Uh-oh. Yo, Art, welcome back. A quick hello, a quick goodbye. This is a rare midday live stream. I thought I'd give it a shot. Just realizing you can see the reflection through the window back this way. It's kind of an unintentional landscape. Well, it's not a workout for me, so carry on, sir. This thing lights up nice. Very nice, actually. Good to see you too, man. Been a long time, 6 months or so since I did this. Roughly 6 months ago. Weather's getting warmer down here in North Carolina, so I have a lot more free time now. So these will be a little more regular, hopefully. Take care, sir. Listening to a little Sleepy Owl. I think that's a new name I don't recognize from. I don't think I've seen that name here at least. Good afternoon. It's a balmy 70 degrees here in North Carolina. A rainy day. Trees are moving in the background through the reflection of this window. Smoking a little Cornell and Deal Oriental Silt. It was an old joke back in the day. Used to call it Silt. So, but it's I wouldn't say 100% Oriental, but majority Oriental tobacco. And a new fancy cocktail glass that's like it's almost like a goblet, which I kind of like. Looks a little dainty for my taste, but it's small but mighty, I guess is the word. Muncloud. That's an interesting statement, Sleepy. In the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, I never put two and two together that a lemon base to cocktails is so common that it pretty much goes with damn near anything. I mean, I knew it was common. I just didn't know how universal it was. But lemon, simple syrup, and then choose your liquor. It's almost impossible to screw it up. There's obviously some exceptions where you want to use a lime or something, but with inflation these days, you can mimic some pretty high-priced flavors at home, and that was a recent discovery of mine. Yoar had to. He's on the job. He was punching the clock, so he had to take off early. But he gets bonus points for being the first one here. I'll tell you that right now. His I wouldn't say his check is in the mail, but his 0.5 ounce taster of my favorite tobacco is in the mail. But he has to give me a shipping address first. It's been a long time since I even Googled or even looked up a YouTube video with YTPC in the title or searched for YTPC videos. So in the last hour, I caught up in a few videos. Obviously, a lot of new guys. Most of them I don't know. But I saw a video of a guy smoking something. I'm like, damn it, I haven't ordered that. I order about every 2 to 3 months from Smoking Pipes, a big order, obviously, for free shipping. I totally forgot that there was a time when I used to like Luxury Bullseye Flake, and I totally forgot about it. There was a time it used to give me bad tongue bite as well, but over time I have grown to love it, or had grown to love it, especially put some age on it. But I just placed an order like a month ago, and I saw this YouTube video like 5 minutes ago. I was like, damn it. I'm getting a little bit tired of Cornell and Deal, as I always am. I was looking for something different. I just totally forgot about Luxury Bullseye Flake. So next time, I'm going to buy some. Allergies here in North Carolina, that was about a month ago. And there was pollen on everything. But I had it bad for about 2 weeks, and it was bad. Sneezing and coughing for about 2 weeks, but it peaked and then it went away, and it hasn't really affected me since. I don't think allergies is something you can get tough on. It's almost like it's like an autoimmune deficiency or autoimmune reaction. Couple updates for me in the last 6 months, which I think is about the last time I did one of these. Done a pretty insane amount of landscaping, planting perennial flowers, basically just a lot of home outdoor, turning what little yard I had into a no grass yard. Just flowers galore. I never wanted to mow again, and my goal for 2025 is I'm not going to mow for the rest of the time I live in this house. And so that I accomplished. So that was good. Mr. Akimba, what? I hopped on early enough to catch you. You usually go to bed by 8:30. Good to see you. About 2 weeks ago, I rediscovered an old Zippo in a drawer that I haven't used in about 5 years. I still had some gas. It just ran out a little while ago, but I forgot about the joy of these things. I don't know why I stopped using it to begin with, but I got the pipe insert. I think there's just enough in there. I was having to resort to matches. Sleepy Owl, good question. Out of all the ones that I had from like 7, 8 years ago, I bought, I think, a total of 10. I gave some away. Some broke. I have 2 left. I smoked one like last year sometime. So this might be the day to do it. I'm going to break one of those out. I got about a half a bowl here. I'll stay on for about 40, 45 minutes. I kind of forget about them, to be honest with you. So I'll break one of those out. And by God, Oriental Silk is the right tobacco for it, because those bowls are so small and those clay pipes that you want something kind of shag-like. You're not going to smoke a flake in that sucker. So this is actually a pretty good choice. On my most recent order, I have stayed kind of in a narrow lane of comfortability, pipe tobacco wise. So I keep the one Cornell and Deal tobacco. I've talked about this forever, so it's kind of boring. But the one that has never disappointed me is Jesus. Well, it's the same one. It comes in that dark 8-ounce tin. Whatever it is, that's the one. So triple play, I add some triple play in there occasionally. That triple play and this other one I can't think of the name of. Those are the only 2 I really stick with. And I also bought some. I bought 10 tins of that yellow tin that's hard to get, and it finally became available. I have it in my backpack. But I've got really narrow. I've gotten burnt more times than usual on the last couple orders. Whenever I veer away from my staples, I'm usually disappointed. Oak Alley is the one I was thinking of. Oak Alley is still my go-to. It's not always equally flavorful every time, so there's still mild disappointments, but there's never been like, what the hell is this? And that's happened to me more so in the last year than usual. McLeod, I recently tried Oriental Silk for the first time. Before I read the rest of that comment, I just want to admit this batch is not the same as I remember. It's not better than what I used to remember. It's a little bit less flavorful, but again, guys, the biggest challenge of this hobby is it your taste buds changing or is it tobacco? I'm getting older. I'd like to think it's the tobacco, but it's impossible to know. But it smokes well. I'm getting some decent flavor, but to make a long story short, on some of my older videos, when I probably bought this 3 years ago for the first time, man, on that charring light of Oriental Silk, I remember getting like this musty sour cream Oriental, type of vibe right off the charring light. And I don't get this here. I know Oriental doesn't always look green, but I kind of have to go searching for the Oriental flavor here a little bit. It's not the, it used to be so strong in the sour cream flavor, which I love. Not getting that on this one. But I tell you what, it burns well. I'll take a good plume in good burning characteristics. I'll sacrifice flavor if I have to. Very true, Mr. Kimball. And again, I always harken back to the McClelland Oriental series, which obviously are gone, and I haven't tried to get any of those from eBay or anything. But that's still the creme de la creme that even subconsciously I compare all Orientals to. It's a tough comparison. Mm. Not only have I become kind of a landscaper on my own house, outside I've also delved into some. Let's get rid of this ugly yellow bucket. some interior landscaping as well. There's something about shade plants that are very striking. So these are coral bells, very common, but I never heard of them until like a year ago. And then a fern in the middle, which miraculously I've kept alive for over a year now. Down there, slightly less pretty, are some other shade plants, but it really brightens up the outer area here. I spent a lot of time on Reddit in the gardening, landscaping. What is this flower? What's wrong with my plant? Type of subreddits. And I know I'm getting older now because my hobbies are becoming much more domesticated. But I've heard of this thing. It's not anything new, but there's something commonly called dirt therapy. You spend more time in your yard, hands in the dirt. It's actually, I never would have said this in my 20s or 30s or even early 40s, but there is something, I'll just call it kind of therapeutic, that I found with pulling weeds, spreading mulch, worrying about plants, trimming things up, just looking at them. It's both stressful, but it's also it takes your mind off things. It's chess used to do that for me, and chess no longer does that for me. Ah, Dunhill 965 and Brits. Never had Brits Balkan, by the way. I'm not familiar with that. It's Dunhill for sure. I haven't had Dunhill in a long time though. Also because I'm not really an English smoker anymore. Although I have dabbled here and there a little bit. So Mr. Kimba said, yeah, up until I got in a scooter accident, an electronic scooter accident last September. I made a video since then, I think. But I was jumping rope up until like last September, hardcore still, heavy ropes, a 1 pounder, 1.5 pounder, 2 pounder, and a 3 pounder. And then got injured and then a couple months off, healed up. And then around Christmas time, I saw a video, to make a long story short, of a 62-year-old man in Canada called Smithy's Fitness on YouTube. And I was kind of getting burnt out in jump roping. I love it, but there's only so much. I did like 1 million jumps. And this guy had a unique outdoor idea of like, he just started to carry kettlebells on long walks. It's a version of rucking. Rucking is usually you have a heavy backpack and you go on a walk and you get more tired. It builds more muscle than just walking or hiking. This is a twist on that because you're carrying weights in your hands, pretty heavy weights. There is no backpack. And so I started doing that last November. And that was pretty transformative for me in terms of your forearms get bigger, your neck gets a little more filled out. It just feels good, basically. Grip strength really improves. But about a month ago, I was shoveling, and I have a small shovel, and I was trying to chop through a root, and I think I had a hairline fracture on my wrist because I hit a rock essentially. So I had to give jump roping and kettlebell walking, farmer's walk is what they call it, a long distance farmer's walk. But that was going to be my replacement for jump roping this year, at least partially. So another couple of weeks, hopefully this will be back to 100%. But yeah, you talk about getting older and finding weird hobbies besides the gardening and the landscaping thing. I never thought I was going to carry a 45 and a 40-pound kettlebell in both hands and walk like for a mile and a half, taking breaks obviously. But it's wild. That's the beauty of getting older. You try a bunch of weird hobbies you never would have thought of, mostly because of YouTube. I told myself I never wanted to step another day inside a gym, not just for the membership, just because I don't want to be inside. Like if I want to sweat, I just want to be outside. Life is short. Sunlight always improves your mood, or just daylight, I should say, not even sunlight. let's get some updates from you guys, whether it's pipe related or not. Um, we're all getting a little older, so what are some hobbies or interests that, again, in a million years you never would have thought you would have picked up or even tried a couple years ago, but now you're fascinated with? Fermenting vegetables, another one for me. I never knew how sauerkraut was made until I discovered fermenting. That was from a friend of mine. I rarely discover anything on my own. It's always someone tells me, or it's Reddit, or it's YouTube. It's always an outside influence. I also spent a lot of time on beeradvocate.com to try to find the top 10 highly rated beers on various styles that I like, and then try to seek out like little road trips to the breweries to try to find those top 10 beers. That's been kind of a adventure touring type of thing. Unfortunately, the only exercise I get is from long dog walks and yard work. That is something. Hypothetically, Mr. Kendless, you can do a little light rucking by buying a backpack and putting 10, 15, 20 pounds in it during a dog walk. And that's a real thing. This rucking idea is, I had no idea, but there are purposely made backpacks for the sole purpose of carrying weight for getting a better exercise out of. And it's kind of tries to mimic kind of like a military type of march type of thing, but it is, even a little bit of weight makes a huge difference for back pain, stability, ankle strength, knee strength, etc. Cask. I forget if cask is a genre or a style of bottling. So obviously I know a lot about Belgians, a lot about. Well, let me start with this. I'll tell you what I don't like. Or no, there's so much I don't like. I'll just tell you what I like. Farmhouse / saisons. I'm all about those. Lagers and Kolsch. I'd say Kolsch is my absolute favorite. It's basically like a Pilsner without that biting bitterness at the end. I'm actually not a big fan of Pilsners. Usually people, if they like lighter beers, they like all lighter beers. Not for me. It's lagers, Kolsch, but not Pilsners. Any high quality Pilsner always has that like ooh at the end, that bitterness, which is odd because I like bitter beers, but just not a Pilsner's version of bitter. Like I like ESBs, extra special bitters by Fuller's, for example, but I don't like sours or IPAs. So it's kind of a narrow band. One of the most recent discoveries that I had was Mexican lagers, specifically Pacifico. It's available everywhere. It's not expensive. It's not really in many gas stations, but it's almost in almost every grocery store. But Pacifico is like 4.4, 4.5. But I'll be damned if that is not the crispest, most refreshing. Some people say it has like a corn type of flavor. I don't really, doesn't really matter to me. But I'd say Pacifico is a. I know on beeradvocate.com, it doesn't really have a high rating, but I'll be damned. It is. I've had, for someone who goes to a lot of breweries, small breweries, their lagers can barely stand up to Pacifico from Harris Teeter down the street. I mean, when I really thought about it, I was spending a lot of money like going to these breweries, but it wasn't that great. I guess I'll put it that way. And most breweries, half of all the taps are IPAs these days. Hey, Benjamin, welcome. I do like some barrel aged stouts and porters as well. Some of that 7, 8, 9% stuff. If it's not too sweet, I don't like super sweet beers. And occasionally you can find something that's high ABV but not syrupy and really, really sugary. That's kind of the Hardywood Gingerbread Man, I think, is like a top 10 ranked in the style on Beer Advocate, and that's in Richmond, Virginia. I get it here in North Carolina pretty easily. That's a fantastic beer. If you're in the Southeast, I think it's pretty widely distributed. You know, Mr. Kimba, I know an old timer who has a beer store down the street. He kind of made me try that. I think it's misspelled slightly. That Gopher, Goeffer Kolsch, because it's one of the oldest. He always likes the German brewers and just assumes they're the best. But I didn't actually care for that. Almost every other Kolsch I really liked, but not that one specifically. There are other German Kolsches that I do like. Apparently, they all come from Cologne, Germany, or most of them come from Cologne, Germany, if they do come from Germany. But again, I'd rather have a mediocre Kolsch than a top tier Pilsner, just for my personal taste. Have you ever tried growing tobacco, drying tobacco? Drying, yes, not growing. I bought so Sleepy. I bought, and I think I showed it in some old videos. There's a website called wholeleaftobacco.com. It's a very long spelled out URL, and you buy a package, and that package is about 2 feet long and narrow, and there's a whole leaf in it. And that sounds amazing, and it was. The concept is, but you have to. It's already dried, but you have to strip it off, and sometimes it's not dried that much, and so it's kind of a pain. And I bought some Burley and Oriental that way. I mean, it's relatively cheap for the volume or the weight you get, but it's also a pain to actually make it smokable. But I've known a couple people who tried to grow tobacco. It's one thing to grow it, make it look like a pretty flower. It's another thing to grow it and then make it something you can actually smoke. Well, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna actually I won't have time to do the clay pipe, but I will do a very quick. I'll just do a very quick outdoor sharing of the yard of everything that I'm about to share or show is basically something I bought literally from a nursery and planted myself. So there was no, I didn't hire any of it out. I hired a lot of landscaping and moving stuff around and hardscaping, but every every plant I'm about to show you, I think 90% I bought myself. So since it's a nice day, I'll finish the video by doing that real quick. This is the built-in camera, but it should be high quality enough. The Wi-Fi should reach as well, but basically we're gonna go out and take a, actually I can kind of do it from here except for the reflection, but it's basically, and it is raining, but it's basically this. It's a lot of crap. It's a lot of stuff. Take a quick look. It's not raining that bad. It's part of that dirt therapy I was talking about. Some of the stuff I started inside from with a growing light and seeds. But yeah, like I said, my whole goal was a no grass yard. So I used to have a little grass there and a little grass there and a little grass there. But I grew up mowing grass as a kid, and I just realized I never want to deal with that again. Let's walk around here very quickly. That's a foxglove. This is something I tried really hard to get. These are pretty I wouldn't say they're exotic, but they're exotic looking. And then this is the hardscaping I did. Obviously, I paid for this, but I planted all these things and bought them myself. So this is my ideal smoking chair here. One big patio for one chair. That's the idea. Some people put a lot of lawn furniture, but they never use it. I just wanted one chair. There's an old YouTuber called One Man Smoke, and I remember that name, and I'm like, I want a huge patio with just a single chair, like a Grizzly Adams type of thing. All right, boys, I'm going to call it a day. Thanks for joining me. I think the next couple times I do this, it won't be late at night, it'll be in the daytime. I have a lot more free time these days, but take care, and we'll see you next time.